Right. Good afternoon, students. So, in the previous class, we discussed regarding energies of various atomic orbitals in hydrogen atom as well as in the atoms other than hydrogen. And one more also we discussed the N plus L rule. So that N plus L rule can decide energies of various orbitals. And next one regarding electronic configuration. See, the electronic configuration is nothing but the distribution of electrons into various orbits, subshells, and orbitals is nothing but known as electronic configuration. So, for representing that electronic configuration of an atom, we should follow certain rules. So, those rules are nothing but N plus L rule, Aufbau principle, Hund's rule, and Pauli's principle. Okay. Now, in that, the first one is Aufbau principle. So, what this Aufbau principle is? So, electrons enters into various orbitals in the increasing order of their energies. Means that without complete filling of orbitals with less energy, electrons cannot enter into the orbitals with higher energy. See, as you know, the energies of various orbitals is given as 1s less than, 2s less than, 2p less than, 3s less than, 3p less than, 4s which is less than 3d and so on, like this. After 3d, 4p you can get like this: 3d less than, 4p less than, 5s less than, 4d less than, 5p and so on. So like this we can get the arrangement of energies of various orbitals. Means while electrons are filling in an atom, first we should fill the electrons in 1s orbital only. After filling 1s, we should fill in 2s. After 2s, electrons should be filled in 2p. Suppose like this, if the electrons are arranged 1s, 2s, 2p like this, in this order if the electrons are arranged, then it is called as a ground state of the atom. Suppose without complete filling of orbitals in lower energetic state, if electrons are present in a higher energetic orbitals, then it is called as a ground state, excited state. See here, after filling 1s, 2s, after 2s, 2p. Suppose without complete filling of 2s orbitals, if electrons are filled in 2p orbital, then that is called as excited state. Okay, like that. If the electrons are present in the available orbitals with less energy first, then it is called as a ground state electronic configuration. Without complete filling of lower energetic orbitals, if one or more electrons are present in higher energetic orbitals, then it is called as excited state. Okay, right. So this is the first principle of Bohr principle. Electrons enters into various orbitals in the increasing order of their energies. This is the order of energies of various orbitals. In the same order, we should fill the electrons. Next, second one. Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. Hund's maximum multiplicity rule, simply called as Hund's rule in short form. Hund's maximum multiplicity rule, simply known as Hund's rule. Yeah. So what this Hund's rule is? See, while filling electrons into orbitals, if two or more orbitals are having same energy, then they are called as degenerate orbitals, as we discussed in the previous classes. So two or more orbitals having same energy are called as degenerate orbitals. Okay. Now, so while electrons are filling in these degenerate orbitals, how we should fill the electrons? That will be followed by Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. Means nothing but in a set of degenerate orbitals, the pairing of electrons takes place only after each degenerate orbital is filled with one electron. So nothing but pairing of electrons takes place after each degenerate orbital each degenerate orbital is filled with one electron each. This is the rule. So pairing of electrons takes place only after each degenerate orbital is filled with one electron each. Okay. Now, say I'm going to take a S subshell. See, S subshell consists of only one orbital. See that orbital here I am representing with a symbol box. Okay, right. So S subshell contains only one orbital. That is represented like this. So this is the first electron. Since it contains only one orbital, the pairing takes place immediately like this. So the two electrons in an orbital are represented by two arrows, one upward, one downward. Means one indicates clockwise direction, one indicates anti-clockwise direction. Now you take a p subshell. Say the p subshell contains how many orbitals? P subshell consists of a set of three orbitals, px, py and pz, and all these three p orbitals will have same energy. These are called as degenerate orbitals. Px, py and pz are known as degenerate orbitals. Now, suppose if you want to fill one electron, so first electron is filled. Then while filling second electron, two possibilities are there. So we may pair this electron, or we can take the second electron here. Two possibilities are there. While filling second electron, the second electron should not be paired here. First we should fill each orbital with one electron. This is P2 configuration. P3, three electrons are there, like this we should write. Suppose if three electrons are there, if you write the configuration like this, for example, two electrons in one orbital, one electron orbital, this configuration is wrong. Each orbital should be occupied with one electron each first. After each orbital is filled with one electron, then only we should start pairing. Instead of that, two electrons in one orbital, one electron in one orbital, like this if you represent, the configuration is wrong. There is this Hund's rule. Maximum multiplicity rule. Okay, means first one should be filled and then the pairing should start. Means here fourth electron will start pairing with first electron. So in a p subshell, the pairing of electron starts with fourth electron. With the fourth electron, the pairing of electrons should start. Until three electrons, one will be filled. In the same manner, if you go for a d subshell consists of 5 orbitals, which are named as dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square and dz square. Okay, now in this case, here also first we should fill each orbital with one electron. So 5 electrons are singly occupied. Then now 6th electron starts pairing here. So in case of D subshell, the pairing starts with 6th electron. With the 6th electron, the pairing will start. This in case of D. Now, if you take a F subshell, see F subshell consists of 7 orbitals. So it consists of 7 orbitals. That means first we should fill with 1 electron, 2, third one, 4th, 5, 6, 7. Then pairing starts with the 8th electron. So 8th electron starts pairing here. This is nothing but a Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. So while filling electrons in a set of degenerate orbitals, the pairing of electrons starts after each orbital is filled with 1 electron each. Without filling of each orbital with 1 electron, the pairing of electrons cannot takes place. This is called as Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. Second rule. And third rule, Pauli's principle. So this Pauli's principle is nothing but in different ways we can give the statement for this Pauli's principle. The first one is no two electrons in an atom. No 2 electrons in an atom will have same set of 4 quantum numbers. This is the statement. No 2 electrons in an atom will have same set of all 4 quantum numbers, which means that if you take any 2 electrons in an atom, they will not have all same 4 values. Maximum they will have 3 quantum numbers equal: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number. So these 3 may be equal. At least they will differ by the spin quantum number. For example, take here the 2 electrons in an orbital. Suppose I have taken 1s orbital. For these 2 electrons, if you write the quantum numbers, n is equal to 1, l is equal to 0, m is equal to 0 for both electrons. Whereas s value, if you take, for first electron it is plus half, for second electron it is minus half. So no 2 electrons in an atom will have same set of all 4 quantum numbers. This is called as Pauli's principle. One more statement is also there. There is nothing but, so one more statement we can write like this: an orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. An orbital can accommodate 2 electrons with opposite spins. An orbital can accommodate 2 electrons with opposite spins. For example, suppose an s orbital is there. This is an s orbital, it is U. This is the first electron, and one more electron if I represent like this. Is it correct or not? If I write 2 electrons like this, this is not correct. The 2 electrons in an orbital should have opposite spins. This is the wrong one. If I write like this, 1 electron upward, 1 electron downward, now this is the correct one. So an orbital can accommodate 2 electrons only, more than 2 electrons not possible. any orbital, whether it may be s orbital or p orbital. Okay, any orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons with opposite spins, but subshell cannot accommodate. See, s orbital can accommodate 2 electrons, p orbital, d orbital, f orbital, any orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons. Then what is the maximum number of electrons in a subshell? S subshell consists of 2 electrons. P subshell can accommodate 6, 2 plus 2 plus 2, total 6. D subshell can accommodate 10 electrons. F subshell can accommodate 14 electrons. Okay, but if you take any orbital, only one orbital, any orbital it may be, either S or P or D or F, any orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons with opposite spins. These are the major 3 rules that we have to follow while filling electrons into various orbits, orbitals, like that. Okay, see once again, that n plus L rule can give the energies of various orbitals. So this is the order of energies of various orbitals as per n plus L rule. While filling electrons into orbitals as per n plus L rule, we should follow 3 rules. Ahbau principle, that is, while filling electrons into various orbits and orbitals, first we should fill the orbitals with less energy. After complete filling of lower energetic orbitals, then only we will fill electrons in higher orbitals. In any case, without complete filling of electrons in lower energetic orbitals, if electrons are present in higher energetic orbitals, that is called as excited state of atom. But that excited state of atom is less stable. Okay, ground state is more stable. Next, second rule, Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. Now, see, a shell is divided into subshells. Again, a subshell is divided into a set of orbitals. And the set of orbitals in a subshell will have same energy called as degenerate orbitals. While filling electrons in these degenerate orbitals, first we should fill each orbital with 1 electron, and then we should start pairing. So the pairing of electrons takes place after each degenerate orbital is filled with 1 electron each. That is nothing but Hund's rule. That is also called as Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. So why it is called as maximum multiplicity rule? Later with one example I will explain. Okay. Now one more principle is Pauli's principle. So while filling 2 electrons in an orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons, not more than 2 electrons. While filling 2 electrons in an orbital, we should fill the 2 electrons with opposite spins, not with the same spin. So an orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons with opposite spins. This is one statement. And one more statement is, no 2 electrons in an atom will have same set of 4 quantum numbers. So these are the rules. By following these rules, we should write the electronic configurations. Okay. Now we'll go for representing the electronic configurations. Let us see here. So by following all these 4 rules, we should fill the electrons into various orbits, subshells and orbitals. Well, electronic configuration. See, for representing electronic configuration, now 2 types of systems are there. One is NLX method. NLX method. The second one is orbital method. Two methods are there. NLX method, and one more is orbital method. See what this NLX method is. Here n represents a principal quantum number, nothing but orbit number. L represents a subshell, whether it is S subshell or P, D or F. X represents number of electrons that are present in this subshell. See once again, here n represents principal quantum number, nothing but orbit number. Next, L represents a subshell, S, P, D or F, and X represents the number of electrons that are present in that subshell. Okay, next, orbital method. In this orbital method, each orbital is represented as a box, and the two electrons present in that orbital are represented with two opposite arrows. Just now what we have written earlier, like that. Now let us see the configuration one by one. We'll discuss. So here you should learn the electronic configuration from 1 to 30 minimum. So minimum requirement is up to 30 elements. You should know the electronic configuration. As per syllabus, they are mentioned up to 46 or 47, but learn first up to 30 elements. Let us see all those one by one. We'll discuss. Hydrogen. The first element is hydrogen, and its atomic number is 1. Then, what is electronic configuration? So hydrogen contains only one electron, and that is filled in first orbit in 1s. So 1s1. So this is the electronic configuration of hydrogen. The same in orbital method will represent like this. That's all. This is 1s. This is orbital method. 1s1 and 1s. Now I'll go for second one, helium. Helium atomic number is 2, and then the configuration is 1s2. 1 is orbit number, S subshell consists of 2 electrons. Now the same in orbital method will represent like this. One upward arrow, one downward arrow. This is 1s. Helium. Now I'll go for lithium, Li. So atomic number of lithium is 3. See, S subshell can accommodate only 2 electrons. So 1s2 over 2 electrons. Not more than 2 electrons in S subshell. 1s2 over. After 1s, next we should fill electrons in a second orbit. In second orbit, first we should fill electrons in a S subshell. So 2s1. So 1s2, 2s1. The same in orbital method will represent like this. This is 1s, consists of 2 electrons, and afterwards 2s subshell, which consists of only 1 electron. First electron represented with upward arrow, second electron with downward arrow. Like that, we just represent. Similarly, beryllium, atomic number 4. So the configuration is 1s2, 2s2. In orbital method will represent like this, 1s and then 2s. This is 1s, this is 2s. So 1s2, 2s2. Either you can represent. So this is the simple method. Orbital method means in chemical bonding generally we use this. Otherwise we will write the configuration like this. Boron. What is the atomic number of boron? 5. Okay, 5 means 1s2, 2s2 over 2s subshell also completely filled. After 2s, what is the order? 2p. So next we should fill electron in 2p1. Okay, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. This is the electronic configuration for boron with atomic number 5. Now see the orbital configuration. This is 1s, consists of 2 electrons. This is a 2s, consists of 2 electrons. After that the 2p subshell consists of 3 orbitals, but out of the 3 orbitals only one orbital contains one electron. So now this is 1s, this is a 2s, and this is 2p. This is electronic configuration of boron. Now carbon 6 atomic number. Okay, right. And our atomic number is 6. Then what is the configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. In p subshell, maximum we can fill 6 electrons. Up to 2p6 we can fill there, not more than that. Okay, the same if you had orbital configuration. This is 1s, consists of 2 electrons. After that 2s consists of 2 electrons, and then 2p. 2p2, as I said here, as per Hund's rule, first we should fill with one electron. Don't take 2 electrons directly here. So here this orbital contains 1 electron and this orbital contains 1 electron. Suppose if the electron is paired here, the configuration is wrong. Okay, right. Next, nitrogen, atomic number 7. Now the configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, total 7 electrons. The orbital configuration 1s, 2s, and then 2p. So 1s2, 2s2, this is 2p2, sorry 2p3, like this. First we should fill with one electron each. This is 1s, this is 2s, and this is 2p. This is called orbital method, like that. If you go for the remaining elements, yes, here I write one by one all. Oxygen, so atomic number 8. So this is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. The same if you had a orbital method, I'll write here 1s, 2s, and then 2p. This is 1s, 2s, and 2p. 1s2, 2s2, 2p4 means first we should fill with one electron and then we should start pairing 2p4 like this. Already one electron is filled over. Now the p subshell starts pairing with the 4th electron. With the 4th electron the pairing takes place, like that. Atomic number 9, fluorine. Then the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Same. The orbital configuration is 1s, 2s, and then 2p. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p5 means 3 electrons, 1 filled, 4th one paired with first electron, 5th electron paired with the second electron. So this is 1s, 2s, and then 2p. Next, neon, atomic number 10. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. One s, 2s, 2p. So 1s2. First 3 electrons are filled. 4th one paired with first one. 5th electron paired with second one. 6th electron paired with third one. So this is the electronic configuration of neon, the first 10 elements. Okay, like that. We will add the remaining electronic configurations also. So in that, so if you take neon, this is a noble gas. This contains 8 electrons in outermost shell, which is known as octet electronic configuration. As you know, noble gases are chemically inert. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. In that, helium consists of only 2 electrons. Other than helium, if you take any other element, all noble gases other than helium contains 8 electrons in the outermost shell. That is, they consist of completely filled orbitals in the outermost shell, which is known as octet. This is called as octet configuration. So this is the most stable electronic configuration in the periodic table. Octet configuration, nothing but called as NS2NP6. NS2NP6 electronic configuration is called as octet configuration. So this octet configuration is the most stable one. So in a periodic table, the elements other than having NS2NP6 configuration, they try to attain this NS2NP6 electronic configuration either by losing electrons or by gaining electrons or by sharing electrons. That is by the formation of chemical bond between 2 or more atoms. That is the main reason for the formation of chemical bond. Okay. So the presence of 8 electrons in the outermost shell is known as octet. The elements which are having octet configuration are more stable. That is, the noble gases are the most stable elements. Other than noble gases, the remaining elements try to attain this noble gas configuration either by losing electrons or by gaining electrons or by sharing electrons. That is, the bond formation takes place between the atoms. Okay, right. So this is the electronic configurations up to 10 elements. Now let us see the remaining 11 onwards. Same procedure. Just what is the order of orbitals are there? In the same order, we should fill one electron continuously. Okay, right. Now the element with atomic number 11. Element with atomic number 11 is sodium. The main thing you should remember is what is the order of energies of various orbitals are there. That you should know. 1s less than 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d and so on. That order you should know up to 3d minimum. And then while filling electrons in a set of degenerate orbital, first we should fill with one electron and then the pairing should take place. This is second condition. Third condition is 2 electrons in an orbital will have opposite spins. By following these 3 conditions, what the electronic configuration for an element. Now take 11, sodium. So the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. By this 10 completed, p subshell cannot accommodate more than 6. By this p subshell is completely filled, see here, over p subshell. After 2p, electron enters into 3s, third orbit. So 3s1. First orbit, second orbit is completely filled. Now the last electron, that is 3s1 electrons into the third orbit. That means the last electron enters into the third orbit. See, this is called as a differentiating electron. What is a differentiating electron? The last entering electron of an atom which differentiate an element from its previous element. So if you compare neon and sodium, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Here 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. What is the difference? This 3s1 is the difference between sodium and neon. So this electron differentiates sodium from neon. Like that, the electron which differentiate an element from its previous element, that is called as a differentiating electron. Simply called the last entering electron of an atom which differentiate an element from its previous element, that is called differentiating electron. Okay. Next, magnesium, atomic number 12. Now the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 12 electrons. Next, aluminum, atomic number 13. Okay, so this is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. 3s subshell is completely filled over. After 3s, electrons should fill in 3p. 3p1, 13 electrons. Next, silicon 14, same 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2, 3p1, 3p2 and so on up to 3p6 will fill electrons continuously. Phosphorus 15, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. See, for these elements also should have orbital configuration like this. Here I am representing only NLX method. We should write orbital configuration like this for the remaining all elements also. Okay, now sulfur, atomic number 16. Now the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. The fourth electron is filled here. Next, chlorine, atomic number 17. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5, 17 electrons are there. Just count here, 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 5, total 17. Next, argon, this is a noble gas, atomic number 18. The configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. This is argon. And then potassium, atomic number 19. Yeah. For potassium, what is electronic configuration? See here now, atomic number 19. So up to 18 electrons, this one as it is just right here. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 18 completed. After 3p subshell, now 3p subshell is completely filled over. Next, the electron will not enter into 3d, 4s. Without filling of 3d orbitals, electrons enters into 4s orbitals as per n plus L rule. So after 3p, don't write 3d. After completion of 3p subshell, the electrons will enter into 4s, not 3d. Now 4s1, not 3d1, as per n plus L rule. Okay. Now calcium 20. Same 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2. So by this 20 electrons completed. Now scandium 21 atomic number, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2. After 4s, 3d. Electron enter into 3d subshell. After 3p, electrons will enter into 4s, not 3d. After 4s can accommodate only 2 electrons. After 4s, electrons enter into 3d orbitals, 3d1, and so on. Titanium 22. So here 1s, 2s, 2p, up to here same, up to here 20 electrons. Okay. So this configuration is same up to here, up to 4s2 means 20 electrons completed. Next we can get 3d2. Vanadium 23. This configuration is same, and then 3d3. Okay. Now see, instead of writing like this, in another way also we can write the same here. So vanadium is there 23. We can write the same configuration like this. Argon. Argon means 18 electrons completed. Argon 4s2, 3d3. Like this also you can write. Means every time without representing like this, the total configuration in a short form we can represent like this. Argon means by representing the nearest inert gas configuration, with respect to that nearest inert gas configuration, we will represent the remaining configuration. Argon means how many electrons completed? Up to 3p6 completed, 18 electrons. After that 3p, what is there? 4s2. After 4s, here 3d1 is there, here 3d2, like this. Now 23 means argon 4s2 3d3. See, you can write the configuration in complete form like this or in a short form like this. But if they ask in examination, write the complete electronic configuration. Okay, while in chemical bonding, whenever you are explaining the molecular structures, then we can take like this. Now, chromium, atomic number 24. What the configuration? Argon 4s2 3d4. As per the regular configuration, 3d1, 3d2, 3d3, 3d4. But this configuration is wrong here. As per rules, what we discussed, this is correct. After complete filling of 4s, electron enters into the 3d. 4s2, 3d4 as per the trend what you heard in here. But actually, this configuration is not observed. The actual configuration of chromium is argon. After argon, we can get 4s1, 3d5. Not 4s2 3d4. This is an exceptional configuration. I will explain the reason after reading the configuration like this. Manganese 25, argon 4s2 3d5. This shows as usual regular configuration. Iron 26, nothing but argon 4s2 3d6 as usual. Cobalt 27, this is argon configuration. Afterwards 4s2 3d7. Nickel 28, this is argon 4s2 3d8. Now copper 29, this is argon 4s2 3d9 or expected, but this also will not show the regular configuration. Instead of 4s2 3d9, here the copper shows 4s1 3d10. This is also an anomalous electronic configuration. This is also different from that of regular. Our expected is 4s2 3d9, but actual configuration is 4s1 3d10. And last one, zinc, atomic number 30. This is argon 4s2 3d10. As usual, the regular configuration will come. ಆಯ್ತು. Now see here. Now here if you observe chromium and copper, there is atomic number 24 and 29. Instead of expected order, we can get another different order. See here, I will explain that clearly. Chromium, what we expected? Argon 3d, argon 4s2 3d4. This is our expected, but instead of this, it will exhibit argon 4s1 3d5. Similarly, if you take copper, our expected is argon 4s2 3d9. This is our expected order, but instead of this order, the observed order is argon 4s1 3d10. So these are called as anomalous electronic configurations. So for the elements from 1 to 30, atomic number 24 chromium, atomic number 29 copper will show the anomalous electronic configuration, means than expected. This shows other electronic configuration. Yeah, what is the reason why this chromium and copper shows anomalous configuration? The reason is that two reasons are there. One is symmetrical distribution. Symmetrical distribution of electrons. The second one is maximum multiplicity. Right. These are the two reasons. Symmetrical distribution of electrons and maximum multiplicity. Because of these two reasons, they shows anomalous electronic configuration. Now let us see. Chromium I'll take 4s to 3d4. The same, one more I'll take here, 4s and then 3d. See what the difference here is. Okay, this is 4s to 3d4. This is 4s to 3d4. This is 4s1 3d5. Among these two, second one is more stable than compared to first one. The reason is the first one is symmetrical distribution. See here, 4s is completely filled, whereas 3d subshell is incompletely filled. So one orbital is vacant. Now in this configuration, if you see, s orbital is half filled and d orbitals also half filled. Means symmetrical arrangement of electrons is there. Means in a subshell, if all orbitals are filled with 1 electron, or if all orbitals in a subshell are filled with 2 electrons each, that is symmetrical distribution. Means equal distribution of electrons in all orbitals. So here 3 orbitals contains electrons. Sorry, 4 orbitals contains electrons and 1 orbital is vacant. Here all 5 orbitals contains electron. Means this is more symmetrical arrangement than compared to this. First condition is satisfied. The second condition is maximum multiplicities. See, these are degenerate orbitals. Electrons can exchange their positions with similar energies. Now, the pairing of electrons takes place with parallel spins. That means these two electrons can exchange their positions. This electron can be exchanged with this electron. Okay, not here, sorry. Right. So these 4 electrons are having same energy, and these 4 electrons can exchange their positions. How many exchanges are possible? Oh, this electron can exchange with this 1, 2, 3 exchanges, and this electron can exchange with this and with this 2 exchanges, and this electron can exchange with this. Total how many exchanges are possible here? 6 exchanges are possible with the parallel spins. This 3d4 electronic configuration is having 6 exchanges with the parallel spins, whereas if you have taken a d5 configuration, how many multiplicities are possible? Means how many exchanges are possible with parallel spins? So this electron can exchange with these 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 exchanges. 4 multiplicities are possible for this electron. Now for this electron, 1, 2, 3 multiplicities are possible here. Now for this electron, as here already here 1, 2 multiplicities are possible, and for this electron only one multiplicity is possible. Total how much you got? 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Total 10 exchanges are possible, whereas here 3 plus 2 plus 1, only 6 exchanges are possible. Maximum multiplicities, as I said earlier, Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. If an electronic configuration is having maximum multiplicities with parallel spins, the energy of that configuration will be decreased. So here for this electronic configuration, the energy is decreased by 6 units. Here by 10. Means the energy of this configuration is less than the energy of this configuration. Means 4s2 3d4 is having more energy than compared to 4s1 3d5 configuration. That means which is more stable? The configuration with less energy is always more stable. So this configuration is more stable now. That's why instead of exhibiting 4s2 3d4, chromium can exhibit 4s1 3d5. See once again, the anomalous configuration of chromium and copper is due to symmetrical distribution of electrons, maximum multiplicities. Okay, right. What is symmetrical distribution? Here in 4s2 3d4, 3d subshell is incompletely filled, whereas in 4s1 3d5, d subshell is half filled. This is more symmetrical than compared to this. First reason. Second, maximum multiplicities means pairing of electrons or exchanging of electrons with the same spin. There is a maximum multiplicities with the parallel spins. See, this electron can exchange 1, 2, 3 exchanges. For this 2 exchanges. For this 1 exchange. So 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6 exchanges are possible for this configuration. Whereas for this configuration, this electron has 4 exchanges, this has 3 exchanges, this has 2 and this has 1. Total 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, 10 exchanges are possible. If maximum exchanges are possible with parallel spins, the decrease in energy of that configuration is more. Means energy of that configuration is less. Since energy is less, stability will be more. Same explanation will be given for copper also. In other words, in a simple way, in a single word, we can give the answer for that. If an orbital is having either half-filled configuration or full-filled configuration, it is more stable. See here, 4s2 3d4 full-filled, incompletely filled. 4s1 3d5 both are half-filled. Since both are half-filled, the configuration is more stable. 4s2 3d9, 4s is completely filled, whereas d is incompletely filled. Now in this 4s1 3d10, 4s is half filled, d is full filled. So simply, if an atom is having either half filled or full filled orbitals, the configuration is more stable, and that more stability of half filled or full filled orbitals is due to symmetrical distribution of electrons, and second one is maximum multiplicity. So because of these two reasons, the elements with atomic number 24 chromium and copper with 29 shows anomalous electronic configuration. Means they shows an irregular electronic configuration than expected as per the rules. 4s2 3d4 expected, but we got 4s1 3d5 for chromium. Copper expected is 4s2 3d9, but observed is 4s1 3d10. So this is the distribution of electrons into various orbits, subshells and orbitals. So this is regarding electronic configuration of atoms. So this is regarding complete chapter of structure of atom. Still some models of problems are there and objective questions are there. Okay, so those models of problems and objective questions, and one more simple concept is there, nothing but quantum mechanical model of atom, which was proposed by Schrodinger. So there is a simple equation is there, and those we'll discuss in our regular classes after reopening of college. Okay, so tomorrow onwards one new more chapter will be started, either periodic